And we are back at the OPP, the Oquendo Perspective. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior for this opportunity, Yahuwah. I'm using his Hebrew name today. All power, honor, and glory belongs to him. Without him, none of this would be possible. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about pride and pridefulness. But before I start today's episode, my brother, he's my co-host. He did an episode last week on being grateful and gratefulness, So I just wanted to, if you want to check that out, check it out, what I'm talking about, so you can see what he said about gratefulness. I just want to kind of piggyback a little bit on what he was saying. Also, you know what, if you get a chance, go ahead and hit that like button, smash it, subscribe if possible, and watch the other episodes that we've done, what I'm talking about. But anyways, back to gratefulness. So, see, the fact of the matter is, sometimes us human beings, we give credit where credit is not due all the time, Now, let me explain to you why real quick. The reason why I'm saying this is because, if something bad happens to us, we're always like, man, that was the devil did that to me, or Satan did that to me, or evil spirits, they did this to me. This is why everything's going wrong. So you're giving all this credit to these things, these entities that don't deserve the credit, to tell you the truth. Let me explain to you why. So like, say something good happens to you. Most of the time, people say, oh man, I was lucky. Man, I was at the right place at the right time. You know what? I manifested this stuff. See what I'm saying? We're not giving credit to where it should be. Instead of saying all that, you should be like, thank the Father for allowing me to receive this good. You see? But when it's the opposite way, we're quick to give credit to somebody else. But when something good happens, we don't give credit to where it's supposed to be given to. Second of all, if you do go through tough times, and maybe you might not agree with it, you're sitting there saying, man, why is this happening to me? Hey, why am I being attacked? Spiritually, why am I being attacked? It's sometimes you can understand that, yes, there are things that we are in the middle of warfare, and yes, there are things attacking us. You're right about that. But look at it this way. See, whatever happens to you is because the Father allowed it to happen to you. See, the enemy doesn't understand. He just thinks he got away with it. No, the Father's, his ways are higher than ours. His ways are better than ours. He has our best interest in his mind. So basically, he'll allow that you to go through that so you can grow from it. So you can, become a better person. So you can become the person that he needs you to be. So instead of giving, saying credit to credit's not due, always give credit where credit is due. And that's one of the things that we don't do enough here. I feel like, and it's something that we should start doing, So let's be grateful to our Father for everything that he does for us. It's awesome that I'm starting to notice, a lot of sports figures and other figures out there that have platforms, like CJ Strauss, they have platforms and they're giving credit to where credit is due. I think that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome because credit needs to be given where credit needs to be given. All right. That being said, today we're going to talk about pride. Pride, okay? So I'm going to talk about a story in the Bible about pride, and then I'm going to give a little example of something that happened to me. And I was like, whoa, me being human, you'll see what I'm saying in a minute, And then I'm going to go talk about a personal experience, and then I'm going to talk about the Bible again, and I'm going to talk about how in the Bible it says, the fall of Lucifer, the fall of Satan, Lucifer was because pride got to him. But that's really all it tells you. It tells you pride this, pride that. But today I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how that pride initially creeped in. And from there, we hear whatever the Bible says, and we can expand it from there. In fact, saying the Father is creating an anime through me, and this is actually how the anime will start, like this, something like this. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna go to the Bible. I mean, I have my notes here, so I don't have to go to the Bible. I have my phone right there too. But we're gonna go to Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 16. Okay. And that's called, and that story is called Korah's rebellion. Korah. Okay. So who was Korah? Korah was Moses' cousin. Okay. He was a Levi. He was a Levi from the tribe of the Levites. So he did work in the tabernacle. So he already had a job working for the Most High. Yeah, he wasn't a priest, but he had a job working with the priest, in the tabernacle and the Most High place. So what happens was Korah one day, he gathered about 250 people and a couple of his buddies, and he's like, hey, why are we just following Moses and Aaron? Why do we assume that? How are they chosen? Who chose them to lead us? They haven't let us nowhere. All they've been doing is lying to us. I think we need a change in leadership. And he's like, basically he was pointing to himself. Yeah, a leader like me. You see, pride. The main part of the story of today, this whole pride thing that I need you guys to understand is pride doesn't just affect you. It affects the people around you. And you know what? And hopefully nothing ever bad happens, because you're gonna hear what happened to Korah. So basically, what happened? He gathered this crowd, this multitude of people. It was 250 people. They were elders from saying they came out of Egypt. They were elders, and they had a lot of complaints. So what they did, they went and had a meeting with Moses and Aaron. And then Korah goes up to Moses and, hey, why? Who decided that you guys were the leaders? Who chose you to lead us? We are all Israelites. We all are the chosen people from the Father. We're all equally, blessed. So who chose you guys to lead us? Because first of all, you haven't done anything for us. All we've been doing is get in trouble. And then you said you're going to lead us to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, but you haven't let us nowhere. So I think we need a change of leadership. And everybody, and there's these other 250 people, the multitude agreeing with Korah. Yeah. So when Moses heard this, he instantly dropped to his knees and said, oh, because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to say. So he got in a quick prayer and asked the Lord, asked the Father, what, what can I tell these people? So the Father instantly responded to Moses. He let Moses know. He told Moses, get up and tell Korah and all the multitude of people who are with them to bring because they were all Levites, so they had they had the censers, where you put the incense for when you do sacrifices, the incense. So Moses told Korah and all his multitude of people, hey, bring your censers. And then he looked over to Aaron and said, Aaron, you bring your censers too, and I'm going to bring mine. So tomorrow morning, the Almighty, he will let everybody know who and why he has chosen his people and who's supposed to be leading. I didn't choose it. In fact, Moses says, I didn't want it. When I went to Egypt, I was already having trouble speaking. I used to stutter a lot. So, I told the Father, how can I help when I myself have issues, So, all right, fine. So they go home. Boom. They go home and whatever. The next day comes, bam. And they all come. The 250 people, Korah and his buddies, he had a buddy called Dathan and Abram. They all came. Those were like the three conspirators of, saying that were leading the other multitude of people, So then they all brought the incense. They filled it up with incense, and as that was going on, a cloud, saying, of glory came over Moses and Aaron, saying, and basically, he let the crowd know, I've chosen these two the censors. These are the people that are supposed to be leading, not, saying, but the people, the multitude, they were still like, they weren't convinced. They're like, that doesn't mean nothing. What, saying, that doesn't mean nothing. Why, saying, I think I'd be a better leader than you would, to lead this, saying, because there was over like 1 million people. People were dying, whatever, and people were having babies. So I mean, the population was growing. It was growing. So Korah wanted to lead. So then the Lord tells to Moses and Aaron, "Hey, get away from Korah, and instantly, because I'm gonna go ahead and end this little skirmish, So basically, Aaron and Moses, they went to the crowd and told them, "Hey, get whatever you guys do, get away from Korah's tent, from Dathan's and Abram's tent. Get away from those tents, and do not buy anything from them. Those are ungodly people. Run away from those people." So Korah and his buddies, they laughed at him. "Ha, what you mean? You're just lying, dude. You lying, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're just making stuff up, just like you've been making up the whole time." So then they decided, okay, well, let's go back to the crib then, So they're going back to the crib, their tent. And as soon as they got close to their tent, they heard the ground start cracking. And then they started panicking. And what happened? The ground opened up and swallowed Korah, the tent, everything he owned, his family. See, his pride affected his family. They all died along with Dathan and Abram. All their families got swallowed up by the ground, and the ground closed up right after it swallowed them up. But there was still those 250 other individuals that were complaining. And so what they do, they started running away from Korah's area, and the other two brothers' area. But God said, where y'all going? Boom. He consumed them with fire. Boom. You see, Korah's pride. The story continues. I can continue on the story a little bit. But it was Korah's pride that he was able to, deceive these other people into backing him up. And his pride ended up affecting 250 men, their families, and even though after that happened, even though there was more multitude came and started complaining, so Moses tells all the leaders of the tribes, there's 12 tribes, he tells each leader of each tribe, bring a staff, and write your name on it. Write your name on that staff. Boom. So they each 12 tribes, they wrote their names on their staff, and they brought it and they gave it to Moses. So then Moses goes to them, "Hey, the father said, all these staffs, we're going to put them in front of the tent of the Most High. We're going to put them there, and tomorrow when we come back, whatever staff, because those staffs are made out of wood, like basically like chunks of trees, whatever staff has comes to life, that's who I chose to be my head priest." Okay. So then they went home, came back the next day, and bam, there was one staff full of like flowers. It came to life, and they had the name Aaron. So see, that's how, the Lord was the one that chose Aaron and Moses. They did not choose themselves. In fact, since there was those people still, tripping, saying because they didn't agree with Moses' technique or tactics, what they do. So what the Father do? The Father sent out a plague. Boom, a plague. Because these people were ungodly. They were disobeying the Father. So they were dying. In fact, 14,000 members of the Israelites passed away. They were all dying. So then Moses tells Aaron, "Aaron, grab your incense. grab your incense, and run through the crowd, into the multitude, and through all my people. And once you do that, when they breathe the incense, they will be saved from the plague. And that's how the story goes. Pride will affect more than just you. Look, in this one instant, it affected, man, there's 14,000 people, 250 guys, all these families, all because of one man's pride. One man's pride. So I gotta be careful. Pride is contagious. Being prideful, it's most people's downfall, because you all overthink that you're better than what you are, than what you really are, but you're only the person that the Father allows you to be. That's one thing you have to remember. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about my personal experience. So I would say about a month ago, well, maybe about a month and a half ago, I had a buddy who, he was a co-pastor, but he was being ordained to be a pastor. The Father, wanted to exalt him and bring him from co-pastor to pastor. Okay. So then, me and a couple of my friends, we come to support my buddy, and he's there. He gets ordained as a minister, as a pastor, and it was great. It was a great service, what I'm saying. It was a lot of worship. We had a couple of the people that were doing the ordained. They were the head of I wouldn't say of where the pastor came from. Saying from what the not the denomination, but the people they represent. The head pastor and the second to head pastor came and to ordain him as a pastor. So then, once we were there, hey, he got ordained. It was awesome. We worshiped the Father, whatever. It was great, and it was about 5 minutes to leave to end up for the service to end. All of a sudden, one of the pastors turns around and says, "Yeah, you." And he points right at me. And I'm like, whoa, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to support what's going on here. He said, "You come here. I want to pray for you," And I was like, okay, all right. Okay, I'll go to the front, hey, if you know what, if I get called, I'm never saying no again. If you haven't heard the story, I've talked about, my past and my spiritual path that I've taken throughout my life. And a couple of times I've been called to the front and I denied it, but finally I stopped denying it. And now if someone ever says, "Hey, I got a word from the Father to you," I come and I receive it with arms wide open now. So I went to the front. And the pastor, he ordains because he got some oil, and he ordained my forehead, and he was praying for me, and I got the other pastor right here with me. He just became a pastor, Pastor Chris. What's up, baby? He became a pastor. So the head pastor is ordaining Pastor Chris and myself. Saying he's praying over us, and all of a sudden, saying he kneeled down like right in front of us and started like ordain, he put oil on our feet. He wanted to ordain. I know that's part of what the Lord does. He humbles you for saying before he exalts you. So and that's why for even himself, he in the Last Supper, he sat there and watched his disciples' feet. So that's just a part of being humbled. So I was like, what? Me being human, of course I'm not going to say nothing, because I know that the Father, must have, had him feel like he had to do that, But me being human, I was a little uncomfortable, because it was like, I don't know, I just felt uncomfortable. I didn't say nothing to the pastors. Yeah, saying after he was done praying for me, hey, it was awesome. I went back. I went back to my chair. The service finished, and after the service finished, the pastor comes to me and tells me, "Hey, how you doing, Eddie?" I said, "Man, I'm good." And I was really surprised. And the word that the word that he gave me was an awesome word. It was something for my ears to hear. It's not something for everybody to hear. But he told me like this. He goes, I just want you to know this. I don't do anything unless the Father directs me to do it. And it's up to us when the Father says to do something, humble yourself, and whatever it is, do it. Because you do it, you will be exalted. All power, honor, and glory belongs to him, and he does as he pleases with it. Okay, so then I go home, and I'm just so now, at nighttime before I go to bed, I'm sitting there praying, and meditating, and I'm sitting there talking to the Father, saying just praying. I'm telling Father, you know what? I know that you want you all power, honor, and glory belong to you, and you want to honor me, Father. But you know what? That's cool. I know it was awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate. I was grateful. I was grateful for what he was doing for me. But then I tell him, but you know what, Father? You know what? As a human, I really don't need, saying that. And then I started thinking, why would anybody want somebody to worship them? That's what's going on in my head. Why would anybody want it? I mean, you have to be perfect. You can't make no mistakes. And there is nobody perfect but the Father. Do not put your trust on any human being. The only person you can put your trust on is the Father. He will never let you down. You might not understand it at the time, but as time passes, you will see why he did what he did. Okay. So then I started thinking, I'm like, so all of a sudden, the story of Lucifer came to mind. I said, Father, what was Lucifer thinking when pride creeped into him for him to think that he can overthrow you? And then he thought that he deserved worship. I don't understand, Father. Me personally, I couldn't hack it. I don't want that type of pressure. I don't want that. Why would anybody want that? So in meditation, things just start popping into, the Lord speaks to you in different ways. You just gotta know how to hear his voice. He just not always gonna use the same way. Sometimes he'll use a voice, talk to you. Sometimes there'll be thoughts. Sometimes he'll shoot you to you're thinking about some, all of a sudden you get a video from out of the blue explaining what you were thinking about. He talks to you. First of all, do not put him in a box. The Father can do whatever he wants, however he wants, whenever he wants. There's nothing that he cannot do. He can use any tactic. He can use any way for his point to get across. We don't put him in a box because he created everything. Everything came from him. So we have to stop putting him in a box and just think about him as, hey, he is everything. He is everything, So then these thoughts came into my mind, and so Lucifer, when he was made, we could go into Ezekiel, and in Ezekiel they talk about him, in Isaiah they talk about him, in Luke they talk about him, and in these books of the Bibles, the story that I'm about to talk about, they talk about it in these places in the Bible, these books in the Bible. So Lucifer, he was perfectly made. He was beautiful. He was like one of the most beautiful angels that was made, and he was a warrior. He was strong. He was beautiful. He was made with all these stones. He was made with those gold and sapphire. All these stones. He was made. He was made from those things. And inside him, he had like instruments, because he was supposed to be, the lead worshiper. He led worship in heaven, talking about. So the way that these thoughts came into me, what happened was, and this is how it creeped in. This is how pride creeped into Lucifer before he fell. Because at first, Lucifer was perfectly made. There was no iniquity found in him at first. It was later they found iniquity when pride creeped in. But so I started thinking, how did pride creep in? So what happened was, Lucifer was the musician, So he would hold concerts in heaven for the Father, to glorify the Father, and everybody would be watching him, and it was like a concert. Everybody's watching it, to glorify the Father, and he did this for many years. The Father says for him 1 year is 1,000 years. But for us, 1 year it's like 1,000 years for him, but 1,000 years is like 1 year to him. So time, it's kind of hard to tell time. So he was glorifying the Father for a while, but all of a sudden, what had happened was every time he gave a concert, and he ended, and the Father was pleased. All these other angels would come and say, "Hey, man, you know what? You did a great job today, man. You did good." And after every concert he did, he would have just this multitude of angels coming. "Hey, man, you did great today, man. Good job, man. And you look really good doing it." And in fact, they got to the point where they were asking him, "Hey, can you teach me? Can you teach me how to worship?" Because they wanted to, say gratify the Father as he did. "Can you teach me how to play music? Can you teach me how to worship as you worship, so I can join in with you?" And people and these angels just kept saying, "Hey, good job," and bam, little by little, he started thinking, "You know what? Man, you know what? I'm above these other angels. They want to be like me. They're asking me to teach them what I know. They want to be like me. Man, you know what? Maybe I deserve a little praise, and then the people that he started saying. So you got to remember, when Lucifer fell, he took 1/3 of the angels with him. So that 1/3 was, they would come in and ask him, "Hey, teach us how to praise, teach us how to be like you." And what he took advantage and started saying, "Hey, hey, you know what? I should be like the Most High. I should overthrow him. You know what? I should overthrow him and become the Most High." He wanted to be God. He wanted to be worship like the Father did. So as you know, there was a battle. There was a battle in heaven. Eventually, God always knew it was going to happen. He knows everything. He knows it's going to happen. So he, like I said, he allows us to make our mistakes. He allows us, he allows us, and it's up to, because it's self-will. It's self-will. You know what? Hey, we have, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, came down and died on the cross for us. So basically, whatever we've done wrong in our lives, he paid the price when he passed away in the cross for us. So he made a way for us because he loves us that much, he made a way for us to make it to heaven. The reason why Lucifer and all his fallen angels can't stand us is because we consistently fall short of his grace, but we still have time. If we're still alive, we still have time to go repent, and we get another opportunity to make it to heaven. But they never got the second opportunity. They messed up once, and bam, they were condemned for eternity. So then Lucifer, realizing, "Oh man, I cannot win against the Father, but what I can do, I can attack what he loved the most." And see, this is where Lucifer started getting angry towards humans, because he had heard that the Father was going to create a race of beings, and they were going to be like his own children, and he was going to love them more than anything, and he was talking about all this love. Lucifer heard that and was like, I'm not going to allow that. How am I going to allow some people that are beneath me but be higher than me? Yes, he's stronger than us. He has more power than us, but we're still the Father's children, sons. We came from him. The angels were made for specific jobs. We were made to worship the Father, and in the words it says, "Hey, I'm gonna make them," and just like this, just like I would say, just like I am, in our liking, in our image. We're gonna make them in our image. So this upset Lucifer, and Lucifer got, and then that along with the pride creeped in. He tried to overthrow the Father. The Father already knew. Michael came down, and met up Lucifer and said, "Hey," and said, "Hey, who is like God? Who is like God?" And then there was a battle in heaven. Bow, 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 bow. There was a battle in heaven, a huge battle in heaven. You remember, Lucifer had 1/3 of the angels. There's this battle. Obviously, God don't lose. He ain't gonna lose. You know what I'm talking about? He's never gonna lose. He's always his plans will never be changed. He doesn't change. His plans don't change. What he sets in stone it's not rewritten because he's the one that does everything. So so then Lucifer decided to, you know what? Since I can't beat the Father, let me attack him. The next best thing. The next best thing was us. Let me go, hurt the Father by taking what he loves the most and corrupting it and introduce sin to them. And so he pretty much tried changing, our DNA and all this other stuff he tried doing, but none of it worked. But again, pride, that's how pride creeped into Lucifer. And did it only affect Lucifer? It did not. It affected 1/3 of the angels. So now it wasn't just Lucifer. 1/3 of the angels, they all got tossed down, into the pits of Sheol and Tartarus, hell. They got tossed down there, and in Luke it says, "Hey, I saw Satan, fall from heaven to the pits of hell like a flash of lightning." I saw that, So pride will affect people around you. You must humble yourself. Pride will take you to places that you think you're going somewhere, but you're really going to destruction. And you know what? That's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid destruction. We're trying to avoid, hey, let's do what we can do to spread the word around, around the world. Our job is just to spread the word, plant that seed into individuals that don't know the Father or need to hear the word, and just plant that seed. It's not our job to sit there and hey, you gotta do this. No. Once we plant that seed, our job is done. The Father will take care of the rest of it. And then once the Father takes care of the rest and they come and gather with us, then we are a huge united family. But the Father will unite us. Not religion, not dominations, none of that stuff. The Most High. It's called the kingdom of heaven, not the kingdom of this denomination. Or it's not the kingdom of that church and that church. It seems like every church is its own little kingdom. Everything is it's titles. Titles. Oh, I got titles. And just because you got a title, everybody's supposed to be like, whoa. When Jesus came down to earth, he didn't go to the leaders. He didn't go to the Pharisees and Sadducees. He went to the regular men. He went to regular men, and look what he did with regular men. Look what he's done. He was able to save humanity if it wants to be saved. Now, humanity has like salvation is individually. Each and every single one of us has a choice. You make that choice. He gives the opportunity. He already paid your price. You're in as long as you choose correctly, and then you try to follow him. Nobody's perfect. Hey, I'm not perfect. Hey, I fall consistently. Don't make me your moral standard. Don't make any man your moral standard, because all we're going to do is going to let you down. But he's perfect. Because he's perfect and he died on that cross, he makes me perfect. I'm perfect through him. Not anything that I did. I can't sit there and say, "Oh, I go to church every Sunday. I give my tithes. I go to I go to prisons. I go to hospitals to visit people." All that's going to get me to heaven. None of that's going to get you to heaven, because just one negative thought cancels all that stuff. Nobody is good. The only one that's good is the Father. So stop thinking you're better than somebody else because you do all this and he might not. But guess what? He knows how you got to make it to heaven. To answer that question, how are you going to make it to heaven? The way to answer that question is not first person. You cannot sit there and say, oh, when we all go to judgment, he's gonna the father's gonna ask us, the judge's gonna ask us, the father's gonna ask us, hey, why do you think you deserve to come into heaven? And a lot of people are gonna be like, well, it's because I did this under your name. Saying I was able to cast out demons. I was able to in your name. I was able to cure diseases in your name. I was able to do all this stuff in your name. And see, that's where you went wrong. Because you're not giving credit to where credit is due. You're pretty much giving credit to yourself under his name. But no, the answer should be third person because the Father sent his only begotten Son. And that's the only reason I'll be able to make it to heaven, because he said I can go to heaven. So that'll be today. That'll be it for today's episode. Hey, like I said, hey, like it, share it. Let's get this word out there. Let's get this word out there, because one day we're gonna be in judgment, and he's gonna ask us, hey, what did you do with the gift I gave you? And if you have a gift, especially your chosen ones, the elect, your answer better be, oh no, the response from him should be, well done, my son, come into heaven. Well done. You did well. But can you imagine if you didn't do what he asked you to do? You deal with that yourself. From a kind of perspective, stay safe, stay smooth. Peace. I'm out.